The people of Isheri Riverview Estates woke up on Saturday, 21st of October 2023, to see their land taken over by water. They could not move out of their buildings, and as many as those who wanted to leave have been doing so in Kano. In under 24 hours, Lagos State Governor Prince Dapo Abiodun visited the community to see the level of damage and what could be done to salvage the situation.
For as long as there's a gradient between the road and those buildings, it means that when it floods, those buildings will be flooded. But from what your chairman is telling me, he said that most of you had envisaged this and you have designed your buildings such that buildings themselves are so elevated. And consequently, currently when we see the flood in the compounds, we realize that if the road surface is elevated, the owners of those buildings can elevate their compounds, and as such, the water or the flood would not flood their compound. So, if that will bring an immediate intervention, and that intervention will be by coming here to put in place drainages and a road infrastructure that would be elevated such that this problem will be resolved.
A day after the governor's visit, the State Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs, Funmi Efuakpe, had called the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to come see the situation.
The issue of flooding is a national disaster that only the state government cannot handle. And I want to appreciate His Excellency Dapo Abiodun for the on-the-spot assessment he did himself yesterday. And I still want to appreciate the CDA of that environment. They were so cooperative. On Saturday that we invited them for a meeting, they made their intentions and observations known, and we were able to reach a compromise, suggest they brought some kind of solutions, immediate and long term, and we were able to deliberate on it to come to an agreement. And as at yesterday, the governor already set up a committee to start the immediate palliative that can be done to that area.
The team's conclusion was to relocate those badly affected and also give them some relief materials.
There will be a kind of comprehensive survey of this place. Road will need to be raised. Building that are built on floodplain will need to be. Are you getting my point? So I think that will be the everlasting and enduring solution.
This is purely an political issue, and I think the Action Authority is taking note, and the state government and federal government are taking appropriate steps to intervene and to prevent subsequent occurrence of this kind of issue, at least next year. Now, what we're after is who are really displaced, where are they going to stay.
However, a visit to the community is still not safe as the level of water keeps increasing.
If the government knows, which I believe they know, the topography and the level of this place, they got two things to do. If you are building, you are going to build on a particular platform. You give whoever want to build a level to which you can start building. Do you get it? That is one basic thing. The road can be lifted high. That's another basic thing. You don't just give approval building here when you know what exists.
What could have been responsible for this perennial problem?
Water level in the reservoir at the end of August will be at 49 meters above sea level. The assumption, and I will say so because as I'm an engineer, that there will be 450 million cubic meters coming to the reservoir in August, 550 million cubic meters in September, and 700 million cubic meters in October. And if we are to adequately take care of that period, is the period troubling us. We will release 18 million cubic meters per day in September and 6.5 million meters in October. That will, but now, without doing any other thing, without spending one kobo, it will solve up.
We are appealing for the desilting of the Lagos-Ogun River down to Ikorodu to increase the capacity, and then the construction of flood mitigation structures across the river, such that the shoreline will be protected.
In furtherance of the state government efforts, Governor Dapo Abiodun took the situation to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Tinubu, who was the governor in Lagos State and was very familiar with the terrain. Following this was the visit of Ministers of Environment and Water Resources for an on-the-spot assessment. Dr. Isiaq Kunle Salako and Joseph Telumon Utsev joined Governor Abiodun to see how a lasting solution could be proffered.
Is to immediately commission a comprehensive study of this place so that we fully understand what we need to do. What we did need to do with Ogun River, and I'm sure my brother, the Minister for Water Resources, will also support us. What do we need to do with the dams? How do we ensure that we expand our drainages and lift our roads? And then also our people to change their habits and be more environmentally responsible.
We are providing solutions for flooding with the entire Nigeria, not only in Ogun State. We have gone to other states and we have visited Ogun now, and we have seen what has happened and has been happening. We are believing that, by the grace of God, a solution has come. This has been happening in other places. We have visited and we have provided solutions to some of these challenges around the country. This is not going to be a difficult one.
Governor Abiodun appreciated President Bola Tinubu for being responsive and responding at a short notice.
This is a clear demonstration of a responsive administration. When you bring something to the attention of Mr. President, and within 24 hours, he has dispatched 2 top relevant ministers to come over to Ogun State to come and have an on-the-spot assessment of the situation and revert back to him. In the course of, our driving around, we saw some buildings that were actually built on a channel that's meant to channelize the Ogun River into the lagoon. Such buildings will not stand. We also have a permanent solution. We must appreciate the fact that there will be some pain. I know the ministers will not want to tell you that, but me as your governor, I can tell you that for free.
With Ministers of Environment and that of Water Resources and Sanitation now involved, as well as the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, a lasting solution could just be in sight. The people of the community are at least now relieved, seeing the efforts of the government at both levels, and are hopeful that succor will come their way soon.